Had this some technical difficulties. That was weird.
Did
It
did it
literally
record the
just
first part?
yeah, it's still recorded. It just kind of caught me off guard. It's like, yo, this just booted me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Juju dancing in the Wi-Fi. He
Shit, be
said, if
honest
you're
with
not
you,
gonna put me in it,
I wouldn't even be surprised. Hold up, let me check to see where he's at. Be honest with
You know the
if you're not
Wi-Fi
gonna put
router
me in it,
kind of warm.
I'm gonna put you out of it.
You're gonna lay on it, get toasty.
You heard the push that boots, but I'm gonna push that boot.
you. All right, we're good because I was definitely gonna have to pull up on him.
Yeah.
But where were we? The HBCU and PWI. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just it was different, man. I will say that when I went to leaving Clemson and going to Fayetteville State, I was like, this is different.
Different, different
It's
scene.
crazy.
I was like, man,
And
I think it was just facilities, it was expectations. So coming to Fayetteville State, I was like, man, like nothing against Fayetteville State, but I was like, man, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
also like the flip side is like what you exchanging for facilities. You exchange for stories because I had stories of Clemson, but they're not gonna match what they happen at Federal State.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I look at different experiences too. Like, oh yeah, I went to a Clemson football game compared to let me go to a Fayetteville State football game.
That's not fair.
Oh no.
That's not fair at all. That's not fair.
I mean, yeah,
That's
it's
not
not,
the
but
same.
it's a realistic thing.
Talking about that. Let me see what this score is.
Yeah, that's really what I just looked at because somebody just texted me about it. But anyway, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh my god.
Trying to cancel a little bit too many people.
Oh yeah.
Ain't got time for
Oh
that.
man. Anyways, but yeah. Anybody else got any stories? Any HBCUs? What were y'all experiences when y'all, you know?
I didn't end up
So
going to an
then,
HBCU.
This is
So,
this is true.
but I wouldn't say, I guess sometimes I do regret that I didn't at least go temporarily, at least, or a semester or something, just because I do see that the experience in the community
Yeah.
is different versus the experience I had. My child trying to get in the door.
You had that look like somebody about to break in.
Because
I
I
think
think
I
the
was a
door
little
is
fingers.
locked. And I was like, what's happening? But anyway, that's the only thing that I say I feel like I missed out because growing up, we went to all those A&T like homecomings and stuff.
Yeah.
And at my school, we didn't have that experience, like the crazy hype experience like it was at A&T. And I think that's the only part that I kind of missed out on. Other than that, school was school for me. You know,
I feel
it
you.
was whatever.
I feel you on that. G, what about you?
Man, we was just talking about stories before we cut out. Before the first part of the video, we were just saying like it's so many stories like being compared to like visiting different colleges during homecoming and then coming out, back to Fayetteville State. It's kind of just like damn, we stuck back here versus ECU versus going back to Fayetteville State. It was just totally different.
Very much.
But I think Fayetteville State, it was a lot more people that you could just grow comfortable with being around versus going to a PWI and you might see one person that day and never see them again. And that's just how the PWI was. Like it was just so much you know going on as far as like just the pace of the school versus going to Fayetteville State where it's kind of like you kind of know everybody.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
do.
too much focused on we got people coming from different areas and all types of next to the woods get this one PWI, versus Fayetteville State where it's kind of just like everybody knows everybody.
Oh yeah. Fayetteville State was it was different. It was very I'm about to slap you. Move, man. Oh, I'm sorry. My son is
Yeah, I'm calling DSS.
All right, chill, chill, chill. We got DSS in the house.
Right.
Nobody yell DSS.
But what was I about to say? I think we hit that one. This is gonna be the two big topics before we hit the top five. But I'm looking more into why is it so hard to talk about, I guess, sexuality or being gay in church, and why
Ooh,
are black people homophobic?
Mm.
this is easy. It's just it's a generational gap. So
Mm.
Mm.
for our generation, it's easier because we're a lot more open minded about it. We have a lot of friends, family, um, people that fit into the LGBTQ community. Like my sister, she's gay. Uh, like I said, Ashley, my best friend, she used to be gay. And then, going to like growing up in society nowadays, it's a lot of that going on versus the old generation. They were raised like that's not acceptable. You even had it in the military, don't ask, don't tell. People like it affected people's lives if they came out like that, so it was not accepted. Because more times than not, that was their livelihood. Like if you came out like that, you might get hurt, you might not get the job, you might look that funny, treated different.
Wait,
And it's just how people were raised thing, like culturally, like that's how you raise. Like, don't
that's
be gay
yeah, like
because it's not gonna be okay.
for me, I care less. I really don't feel any way about it. I just think that once we get into church with it, it seems like they want to like they want to just kill you on stuff like that. Like, oh, why, like something's wrong with you? You know, you crazy. Like maybe you just need the Lord. There needs more prayer about you. You need to change up what you doing. This is wrong. You going down there, and it's
They
just
gotta rebuke that up out of you.
oh yeah, you going down there, and it's just. And I guess you were right. It's just the age gap, man. It's just so easy now. It's so normal now to where back then you're like, oh my gosh. And I guess it was more on the DL back then.
Yeah.
And since it was on the DL back then, it's viewed super negative.
Yeah,
So that's the whole problem.
that's
We
true.
we a different breed nowadays.
That very much. Anybody else got anything on it?
We're
I
we're
think
less
that,
ignorant.
Yes.
oh yeah, definitely. I think that having a sister who is, well, she basically get what she can get in a sense. So we're gonna put it like that. And just being friends, with that whole community, like, I think that the church, they have a wrong viewpoint on it. And I think that a lot of things in that community itself, I mean, I don't agree with everything that's been told to me. It's just as far as like, okay, if you make this choice to like the same sex, um, for example, let's say, okay, if you want to start dressing like a woman, if I'm your father, um, for me to support your habit and put money towards, dresses, that's gonna say that I support what you do. I mean, I can accept it, but if I support it, then that's kind of like me pushing you in that direction.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I really can't agree on, you feeling some type of way because I'm not putting money towards you to, wear makeup as a man or wear heels or, do things like that. So it's just kind of, it's just certain touchy subjects that you really can't get to. When it comes to church, it's like, okay, are you going to come to church in your heels? Or are you going to come to church in your dress shoes? You got to pick and choose, which way to go.
Yeah. I feel
I
you.
think I think it's really just an easier sin to look down upon,
Yeah.
because the other sins that are listed along with homosexuality in the Bible, they hit too close to home for most people, and so I don't know what the ratio to homosexual, people who are in the LGBTQI plus community. I don't know what that ratio is to, like, those who are straight. But I feel like it's easier to look at other people who are homosexual and focus on their sin, so you'll feel less upset or less bad about your own sin, because the rest of them, like greed and sloth and all that stuff, laziness, whatever, hits too close to home for us, for I guess for the straight people or whatever. So they'd rather just focus on that one instead because it's easier. And then I also think it's about being different too, because I feel like it falls under that category of like, what you don't understand or whatever's different from you. People fear whatever's different from them. And so those who are those straight people within the church, having somebody that's completely different or taking a whole nother direction or outside of the box from, where all the rest of, I almost said all the rest of us, but where the straight people stand, it just, to them, just seeing that difference just makes them just like, oh, like, no, we need to, turn them to where we are because what we're doing is more correct and more right. And so I think it's one of those things as well.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody got anything else on this?
I totally agree. I just agree with I really agree with Jazz. Just thinking about it, I think it's one of those sins where because it stands out more, makes more people don't understand it, they're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's so much easier to target it. So I get that.
All right. I think we've hit that one. And the last one is how important, what's the importance of mental health and why is mental health downplayed in Black households?
Ooh, let me start just because y'all know I'm in mental health. Let me go ahead and throw it out there. Mental health is extremely important because it can determine the rest of the aspects of your life. Every other thing that you have going on in your life, your health, your job, whatever, your relationships. If your mental health is not up to par, I don't want to say up to par, but if your mental health is not like at a good level or a good standing or, at that optimal level, then everything else is pretty much going to come crashing down. Your health, you get sick. Your relationships are going to start to falter. Your career may suffer. You'll start feeling all sorts of things. And it's really, mental health is just extremely important to me. That's why I always try to like post. I don't know if y'all see on my Instagram. I don't know how many of y'all follow me, but I always try to post something related to mental health and trying to like help people like boost their mental health. Because it's really extremely important to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish and do in your life. What was the second question, baby? You said related to Black people?
Yeah, why is it downplayed in Black households?
Why is it downplayed? Oh, I think one of the major things is that like Black people have bought into this idea that we have to be strong, I think, and then that strength requires us to not seek mental health, because if we're seeking mental health, that makes us weak. And then also, of course, from back in the day, you know how people used to say it back in the day. It's like, if you have some type of issue that's considered a mental health issue, really, back then they used to call it, oh, you're a little touched, or he a little crazy, or he a little this. We used to have this thing back in Bishopville where we say people going to Bull Street and all this stuff. And on Bull Street was a mental health facility. They moved it now, but that was like a very negative reference. Like the stigma attached to having mental health issues, especially as a Black person, I guess made it, how can I say it? It just made it where we don't want to actually go out and receive that help, and we don't even want to let it be known that we even have these issues in the first place. But I feel like it's a lot of different reasons why Black people don't want to go. But I think that main thing is that we bought into that idea that we need to be extremely strong. And by doing so, we need to ignore those parts of us that need help, especially our mental health, because mental health isn't something that you can see. You can see the stuff that, you can feel and see the other stuff that ail you, the physical ailments, but you can't really see the mental stuff. And so we try to hide it as much as possible from other people and from ourselves. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
I agree with her. I mean, and I also, to add to it, like a lot of times they feel like it's not going to be taken seriously, or it's not going to be the correct response. Like, if you're younger, you approach your parents like that because, a lot of times you hear, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. Time like, that's all you hear. Like, if you keep getting told nothing's wrong with you, you're going to bottle it up and compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you just taught to hold it inside you until it bursts out.
It's great.
And it's not too bad, basically. So,
that's teaches everybody.
Yeah, it's like this meme I seen not too long ago. It was like, I'm depressed, and then the mom's like, you better don't depress them dishes. It's like you just kind of brush it off, but
Yeah.
it's true though. Like
Yeah.
for some reason, well, the first answering the first question, it is important. I have this app that kind of helps me with like my mental health, and one of the first lines it says, like, when you open it up, it's like you need to exercise your brain and your mental health just like you exercise your body, because you need your mental strength to function everything else. And then going backwards back to the Black community, it's a number of things. It's the being taught to just be strong, suck it up. You don't want your mama, you better not be telling my business to no one else.
Yeah.
So you feel like because you're opening up to somebody about your life, your mama gonna be mad because you telling part of that business too. So you better not tell nobody my business. So it's that. It's a lot of Black people are really into religion, and they feel like for some reason, just because you are religious, you can't have a therapist because the Lord is my therapist. And yeah, that's true. You can pray it, but sometimes you need more. So that's pretty much my answer to that. I feel like in this household, and we Black, we believe in therapy and everything else because it's important. I mean, you don't want to teach your kids to just suck it up. Yeah, if they fall, you might want to look at them and be like, I ain't see that. But in the corner of your eye, you kind of looking like, okay, are they okay? Do I need to coach them this one time? You don't want to just ignore, their hurt or their pain because you sucked it up and you felt like, well, I handled X, Y, and Z, they should be all right. And it also goes back to what he was saying about generational gaps. Our parents and before, they were trained like that. Well, back in my day, my grandma went through X, Y, and Z, so I don't need no mental health just because I'm going through this little small thing. So we're more aware now. We're a different generation. So I'm hoping it spreads through the community now because we are different.
That's true.
It's okay that you are hurting. It really is. It's real.
And when we don't deal with those mental health issues, we pass those mental health issues down through our kids. Like a lot of that stuff is generational. Like my mom has anxiety. I also have anxiety, and it was something that she never dealt with. But she's dealing with it now, thank God. And so, I'm pretty sure like our other family members have held it as well. So it's just like it gets passed down. The more you don't deal with it, the more it's just going to keep spreading. It's not going to just be about just you sucking it up. That means your kids and then their kids and their kids are also going to have to deal with it. So my thing is, that's why I feel like, we might as well just take the reins and just deal with it ourselves now. Because I feel like a lot of these issues that a lot of us have, we wouldn't have if parents would have just dealt with their own stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why I want to deal with my stuff, so I won't be pushing any issue. I mean, of course, no parent is perfect. There are things that are going to get pushed off regardless. But if I can deal with something that can keep my kid from facing some type of generational issue, I'm going to deal with that now and make sure they don't have any, problems because of my parenting, because I didn't deal with some childhood issue or some trauma that I got as an adult or something like that. So I feel like that's what makes mental health important. It's not just about you and making sure your health is optimal. It's about making sure your kids and their kids don't suffer with the same issues that you're suffering with. And so they'll know what to do and how to seek that help the same way you did. If your kid sees you going out there and do it, it's more likely that they're going to say, okay, my mom been doing it, so it must be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say I didn't believe in that first, to be honest with you. That was just because I think more or less of my parents shielded me from certain things. So I never was put in certain situations where, I could feel anxiety or I could, you know, or I could be depressed or something like that. So I just felt as if my parents did a good job in order to, evaluate, the things I've been doing in my life and to bring me to where I'm at now. But now I do understand, being in a relationship with a future counselor that, you know, that this is real. This is more than just a simple problem. Like this is a lot of people's problem, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Too many people are suffering silently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
because they seen their parents suffer silently. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I mean, like you said, I know for a fact my mom never addressed it, but I know that she has anxiety, and I recently discovered that I have anxiety as well. But when you say that, because of how media not glorifies, but like portrays different mental health issues,
Mm-hmm.
people only think of the extreme of things. So
Yeah.
a lot of times they ignore it or they downplay it because they only think, well, I can't be actually depressed because depressed is when I'm about to jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't think like there's spectrums to all of it. And you could be on it and it can progress. But
yeah,
if you never seek help for it, how are you gonna manage it?
yeah,
Yeah. And like you said, like as far as like it also goes a step further to like therapy. Like some people think that you have to be doggone near about to jump out of a car or jump out of a window or getting just going crazy or something like that, or feeling like you're losing your mind before you can actually seek therapy. But therapy is not just for people who feel like they're about to lose their mind or something like that. Like therapy really just helps you undo and unwind some of the thoughts that you can't seem to process and help you process it out. Like you don't have to have a actual mental health issue. Sometimes you just need to talk, and sometimes you ain't got nobody to talk to, or you just need somebody who's unbiased, somebody who's just
Unbiased, yes.
yeah, you need somebody that's unbiased and just gonna give you like something from a point of view from outside and not from inside to help you just collect your thoughts, get them together, and make a next decision. Because sometimes it's hard to make that next decision. And then, like you said, it's like sometimes you just how you gonna know if you never actually like seek the help. And so, if you seek the help, you may find out you have an issue. You may find out that you just needed somebody to talk to, and it don't matter. Listen, as a therapist, I am gonna be there to listen. If you just want to talk to me about why the sky's blue, I want somebody to talk to me about why the sky's blue. That is what I'm looking for as a therapist, because I want somebody to feel comfortable enough to come in and just talk. And I think that's what most therapists want. Just come talk and let it all out. And then sometimes you do need to vent. Just vent it all out and let it go.
Yeah,
yes,
and sometimes you suppress things that you don't even
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize that it's bothering you because it's a natural human thing to like push it down and just
Mm-hmm.
swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't, when you sit down with a non-biased person and you like just start talking, all that stuff just comes up and you're like, well, dang, I'm speaking from experience, you
exactly.
know. I sat down with this therapist after I had Adric, y'all, and man, I didn't realize I had just pushed so many things down because I walk around like that don't bother me, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not thinking about it constantly, there's things that you you may not know that really is there that you
Yeah.
push down.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Mario G, I got anything on it?
This has been thorough. I have nothing else that I could even add to this. Like
It's all
y'all
good.
went in all areas.
Oh yeah, we got
I
the
agree.
future mental health counselor in here. So stop playing. Put some respect on her name. So now we're down. We've gotten down to our top five. And the rules of top five is basically we're gonna do a draft starting from it's gonna go from Mookie, then me, Jazz, then Rio, and then Demario, and then Demario, you pick two, and then I'll go back the same way, and then Mookie, you'll pick two, and that's how we're gonna do it. So make sure you
Let
count
me
it
get
out
my
for
notebook.
me. Oh yeah, if you need to write it down. All right.
I'm in the war room.
Right. Top 5. Let's go. Top 5.
We're doing our top 5 black movies.
Ooh.
Oh wait.
But as a part of this draft, you got to remember, if one person says one thing, the other person can't say the same answer.
Right, I need a pen because I'm nuts around.
We'll forget.
All right, and whatchamacallit? I think Mookie, you start off.
Man. Okay. So I don't really watch movies like that, y'all.
Boy,
But
You know some.
But I like
You know some.
comedies. Oh yeah, I mean I know comedies and stuff. So I guess and this is no particular order of what I feel, but the first one that came to my head was Friday because of BET. So we gotta go with Friday. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody hurt. Everybody hurt on that one. All right, I'm gonna go Coming to America.
Okay.
All right.
Don't be a menace.
Don't be a menace. Okay, that was clutch.
All right.
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna say.
Specify that last one. Don't be a menace.
Which
or don't
one?
be a menace to South Central while drinking the juice in the hood.
While drinking your juice in the hood.
Okay.
Low dog.
Exactly. He said, "Do
I'ma
we
say-
have a problem?"
I'm gonna say the wood.
Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
how I'm gonna go.
smack their booty.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna I'm gonna get my top 2 out right away. We're gonna go Boys in the Hood.
Oh my God.
Check mark by that one. And then, I'm gonna take it. Nah, we're gonna get the top 2 out of the way before y'all say it, Love and Basketball.
Damn.
Come
Okay.
on. Wait a
Man.
minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
All right, it's back to you, G.
Bad boy. What you mean? Where's bad boy?
Ah,
That's
dang
me.
it. Okay. All right.
Come on.
All right, base on you. Damn.
Harlem Night.
Harlem Nights.
Son of a gun. I was gonna say that.
I'm gonna go ahead.
What you doing with that last gun?
I'm gonna go ahead and take this right off the first Black Panther.
Bruh.
Funk you.
All right, Mookie, you pick 2? Yeah, you pick 2.
I picked 2.
Yep.
All right, so John Q.
Ooh, okay. Ooh.
I had to get deep for a second.
All right.
And well, dang. Somebody already took like 2 of mine. Okay, hold on. Their Eyes Was Watching God. Was that like considered a black movie?
Yeah.
I'm going that.
Is there
With
Darnell Hurston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to go with I don't really count this. I don't know if this is a black movie, but personally, I think it was a black movie. I'm gonna go Remember the Titans.
Okay.
Because I mean, it was talking about segregation.
But
Yeah.
Oh, you tripping out a little bit, Demario. Unless I'm
Borderline.
All right, it's on you, babe.
I'm gonna have to go with Us. Us was a good movie.
You said Us, okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say Rush Hour.
Damn.
Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, Lee. You already know. You already know how to get that one.
Okay. Oh, I got a lot of good ones. You got to get ready. Go ahead and get my 2 back to back. I'm gonna do house party.
Damn.
And then I gotta get set it off.
Okay.
Oh my
Dang.
Y'all
God.
about to
I'm
be
done with
mad.
you
Y'all
because
about to
I
be
swear
mad.
that was next for me. Man.
I'm
I gotta do
poking
2.
the fire.
I gotta do 2.
How many you got now? 3?
Yeah.
We're gonna go back through.
Okay. Juice.
Oh, juice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yep.
All right, Get Out.
Damn, you stole mine.
Yeah.
Nobody said it yet, so I'm gonna do another Denzel. I'm going with Training Day.
Okay.
And I think you got one more movie.
Gotta go ahead. How high?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dang. Smoking dead people.
Oh, my baby's coming in.
Baby, is that?
Yeah, it's on me. My bad. I'm sorry. Clemson's winning right now.
I know. I saw it too.
What else? I'm going my last one. Black movie. I'm gonna say recently I'm going to have to say what was it? Dang. Lean on Me.
Okay.
Which somebody still hadn't seen. I ain't gonna say nothing though.
Oh.
Anyway,
He ain't have to put you out like that, but
I know, right?
He had to. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
One day.
That's like knowing one day. Tomorrow?
Oh man.
My last one, I'm gonna have to go with Clean and Slim.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say Poetic Justice.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And Demario, your last one?
Okay. And this the last one altogether, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my last one, then I'm gonna give you my honorable mentions. So my last one is The Wiz.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But my honorable mentions, Boomerang and The 5 Heartbeats.
Ooh.
Okay.
5 Heartbeats.
Ain't got nothing but love for you, baby.
Yeah, when they got pulled over though. They was.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah, that was. All right, so that's the end of the 919 podcast, the 919 Air It Out podcast, and if y'all want to, if y'all want to put yourselves out there, Instagrams, Facebooks, go ahead and put your tags out there.
I ain't doing that. I got a baby on the way.
I'm dead. Anyway. Yeah,
Mine is J.Nicole93, J.Nicole_93, JAE Nicole.
Okay. Mine is Smart Kid Mario, Smart SMART Kid KID Mario MARIO.
You know people can't spell. How you spell smart?
How you spell smart? It got an L in it, right?
Between J and Nicole. Let me just throw that back out there, y'all. I'll be messing up my my tag every time on Instagram.
Oh
man, that's crazy. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? All right, well that's
wait, hold up.
Oh yeah.
Because I might as well get it out the way. You can follow me I gotta look it up one.
Don't nobody know that name. That's crazy. Don't nobody know that name.
Hold up. You gotta follow me on Instagram. Sometimes on Tuesday 1-1. I also have a podcast sometimes on Tuesdays. Look me up. And that's about it.
All right. That's another second episode of the 919 Air It Out podcast. And we're out.